Steve, you're up 5 with about 8 minutes left. What did you see happening there down the stretch? Was it maybe a case of your guys wearing out a little bit after playing so hard for so long?
Felt like a couple of offensive rebounds for them turned into threes. I think Edwards had one out of the corner. Reed, there was a big sequence where, Jimmy had a shot at the rim. Looked like he was going to convert it. Looked like he might have gotten fouled, but and then they went the other way, got an offensive board, and Reed hit the three from the corner. I thought that was the sequence that really shifted the game and the momentum. So 13 offensive boards for them, 26 points. That was a big factor in the fourth.
Draymond's 6 fouls obviously played a major factor, and I think 2 of them were challenged, one by you, one by them, and then obviously the 6-1 late. What did you see there, and just what did you think of his game overall?
Yeah, we felt pretty strongly that the one on the, I think it was his fourth, on the block, they called the block. It looked like Randle went through his chest, and so we felt pretty good about challenging it. Plus, it was his fourth, but obviously it didn't. We didn't get the call, and that's part of the game. But Randle was great, and the foul trouble, and the 6-1 was a tough one. That didn't feel great looking at the replay, but it is what it is, and they outplayed us in the fourth, and they deserve to win.
How would you describe Jimmy Butler's play tonight? He said if he needs to go score 40, he might be able to do it. Did you see him carrying an extra load in this, and what it was like watching?
Jimmy was incredible. I mean, he really controlled the game for us, and put us in a position to win, and we just couldn't close it out. But he was brilliant all night.
Did JK figure something out last game? Obviously tonight he's got 30 points.
I'm sorry?
Jonathan Kuminga, just what do you think of his performance tonight?
Oh, he was brilliant. JK played one of the best games of his life. It was fantastic to see, and you can see how necessary he is in this matchup, especially without Steph. We're having a tough time getting free, and he's obviously capable of giving us some points, getting to the rim, and I thought he was fantastic. I've said it a couple times to you guys. I've just been impressed with the way he's handled things the last couple of weeks, with the way he's stayed ready and put in the work, and it paid off tonight.
We know Brandin does so many things well besides scoring. He led the team in rebounds tonight, but just how much do you need his offense and his scoring, especially with Steph out? Well,
if things bounce the other way and we're in here with a win, nobody cares that he didn't score a lot. So when the game goes in one direction or the other, it's easy to kind of look at different stats or different things. PP's not, a big scorer. He's a basketball player. He does a lot of great things out there. Thought he played really well tonight. The shots didn't go, but I'm confident that they'll go in game 4.
You mentioned pregame, you have to win the game with your defense. Just overall, what do you think about the collective team defense tonight?
Yeah, the team defense was really good. I mean, we held them to 102. That's a pretty good number. But Randle and Edwards really both got going in the second half, and that was the key. We couldn't quite contain them, especially in the fourth, and that was the difference.
Steve, what's going to have to go right for you on Monday to kind of make sure you don't go back to Minneapolis?
Not that much, really. Like, we're right there. We feel great about our chances, and this is what the playoffs are all about. There's these emotional swings and momentum shifts, and we just got to, take tomorrow off and get the guys refreshed, recharged, and come back in Monday and tee it up again.
Jimmy and Jonathan combined for 63 points. What did you think about them being on the floor together and complementing each other and each getting their attack?
Yeah, I mean, they played great. I mean, we had combinations out there that probably hadn't been out there the entire season, starting Trace and, playing the groups together that we did. But I think we found some good combinations, and, Jimmy and Draymond were both fantastic and obviously played a lot of minutes together and did a great job.
You only got up 23 threes.
Yeah.
Obviously no Steph creates issues there. Are you just going to have to find a way to create more, or is this just almost the style you have?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to generate threes. I mean, you have to you have to gain an advantage and get rotations, and it's hard for us to do without Steph, without our point guard. In pick and rolls, and Jimmy obviously is creating plenty, but it's different. It's not the same level of stretching the defense out like Steph does, and so we've got to find ways to score more, to try to generate more shots, and we'll look at the tape and figure that out.
Steve, you talked about looking for the formula without Steph, mixing and matching, and you guys have spent a lot of time on this. How close do you think you are?
Really
Having
close.
that-
Yeah, really. I felt good about the way the game went tonight. We just couldn't close it out. And again, give them credit. They made all the plays in the fourth, and Randle and Edwards really got going. And we just we couldn't quite overcome them once we got down. But we controlled much of that game, and up 6 or whatever it was. 8 minutes to go. I liked where we were. We just couldn't finish. So the formula looks good. We'll have some adjustments to make, but I like the matchup. I like what we're doing.
Steve, beyond his scoring, what about the way Jonathan played? It seemed like a couple times he cut to the basket off the ball to get passes.
Yep.
And I know you talked about him figuring it out back in January. Do you feel like you saw that? And how difficult is that given how little he's played recently?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's kept himself ready. He's done a great job of working on his conditioning, playing in the the low minute games, and didn't play a whole lot in the Houston series, but he's clearly finding his groove and his rhythm now, and just in time.
Steve, you mentioned their offense getting going in the second half. What impact does Draymond picking up the fourth foul and then the sixth foul have on that?
Yeah, that was huge. That was a really big deal. So it's part of the game. Foul trouble, injuries, all that stuff. None of it matters. You have to find a way.
Did you notice them attacking you differently with him off?
Sorry?
Did you notice them attacking differently with him off the court?
No.
Steve, you mentioned earlier that you got to manufacture more offense, but with Steph out, obviously you went a lineup that had two non-shooters, and Brandin is struggling right now. Where do you find the offense from if Buddy's not making shots? Where does it come from?
Well, that's the trick. We've got to put our best two-way lineups on the floor. I think I think we're going to win the series with defense. We're not going to beat them in a skill game. If we have to get stops to win the series. Without Steph, obviously, we're a totally different team. And so, if we can get stops and run, create some offense off of our defense, that's part of the formula.
Julius Randle has taken a very different role in this series versus past series and past games. He's taking a lot more ball handling and a lot more passing. I think he's averaged 11 assists the last 2 games. How are you planning on adjusting to make sure that his passing impact doesn't?
Well, we'll watch the tape tomorrow and figure it out, and then we won't tell you. So we'll save that for Monday.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Great pleasure for you guys in here.